Hey, what is up? Welcome to the Eternal Skunk Show.
What up, gangsters? How you doing?
I'm freaking awesome.
That's good. That's good. So, how's your bracket doing?
My brackets, I don't even know, to be honest. I haven't.
Yeah,
I don't have a printed copy of it, so I have no,
Yeah.
I have to go and look it online manually.
I already just tossed mine in the garbage. It was pretty useless. I had Virginia in the championship game, so there goes that one. And I also had most of my Final Four is gone. Iowa State's gone, so it was time to move on. Gamble in other ways. Anyway, so March Madness for you means what in NASCAR land?
March Madness means nothing to me as far as NASCAR is concerned.
No, it doesn't get in the way of Sunday or anything like that. Like, what if the Badgers were playing, or there was a race in Cleveland? Do they have races in Cleveland?
They don't have races in Ohio, but
okay.
I'm going to choose
or Kansas.
I'm going to probably choose. Yeah, if it's a Kansas race, I'll watch Kansas. If it's a Kansas team, I'll probably watch Kansas too.
What if? Okay, so Kansas apparently is popular. What?
No, we already discussed this in an earlier episode.
Oh, no,
Kansas is not. Nobody likes Kansas. Nobody.
Oh, okay. So what if it was in what's the worst one? What if it was in Maine? What if it was in the Canadian track? What if it was Toronto NASCAR?
Well,
special from Quebec, so it was French people even, or Gonzaga. What would you rather watch?
I would rather watch. I really don't like Canada. I mean, enough to just enough to eliminate them altogether from the conversation.
And to make things even better, Danica Patrick wins the poll.
Totally not interested. You've already lost me.
Okay,
100%.
So college basketball can trump NASCAR in certain scenarios.
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay, that's amazing. So it's also been pointed out that I have not quite the radio voice that one would expect with a name like O. So I've been working on that and keeping that in mind. So hopefully my jokes are louder and I don't sound like a retard when I talk.
Well, good luck with that.
Come on, man.
I like your jokes.
It's hard not being unfunny and slightly autistic.
Well, okay, if you had to choose one, I would prefer you to have funny jokes as opposed to radio voice.
Oh. Well, maybe we can find an equilibrium. So it looks like you pulled up a bracket here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of scanning it over. Here's my bracket. The only team in the Final Four I don't have as of now is Villanova.
Okay. So you're already going. You got Duke and Kentucky in the national champion with Duke winning, huh?
I don't think so.
Well,
apparently I do, but I think we both. I think this is that alternate universe one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's what it says, and I'm just going by what it says under Cody for basketball. And another one, oh yeah, this one conveniently has Kentucky. What's the name that this one is under? Ming? Who's Ming?
Nobody's Ming.
Well, apparently your Asian counterpart. Ming Mashka. Ming Rickshaw.
Yeah, so that's my bracket.
Okay. Well, you're doing all right, I guess. Wichita State, you called them good. Beating Kansas, good call. So much for Dayton, too. Well, you had them going a little bit farther. Good call on Oklahoma, too, beating Albany, I guess.
Well,
scroll up. Here we go. North Carolina State, that was, I don't think a lot of people expected them to win or lose.
I mean, I don't. With Villanova being out, that's.
I guess you're not doing as good as I thought you were.
Nah. Nope.
Who's Jay Williams? Who's Harrison Barnes? Who's Satya? These are all celebrities that I don't know who.
Never even heard of any of them.
I know who Barack Obama is, but he's not really a celebrity. He's the president. Why don't they just?
He's not really a celebrity.
Well, he shouldn't be. He's the.
Jay Williams is an ESPN guy. It looks like.
Oh, he kind of looks like LL Cool J. And kind of.
You know my opinion about LL Cool J.
I know it's high.
It's not high. I'd have to be high to enjoy it.
Well. We can talk about that. We can see what we can do.
What do we got here? Who's this guy? Harrison Barnes, Tar Heel.
Okay, so he plays basketball. So he's in the brackets.
And this
That's
guy.
I think we play North Carolina next.
Yep. And
Satya.
Microsoft CEO.
Sounds like a girl's name. Oh, okay. So the definition of celebrity has changed to include presidents, CEOs, and players in the tournament, and apparently Bing's officials, which are whoever Bing assumes is a celebrity. So whoever in the Bingiverse is a celebrity. And they have like a perfect bracket. Weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mathematical formula.
Yeah. Well, look, they only called one of the first four right. Suckers at Bing. They lost out on those points. All right, so we should probably go into some little story here about how me and you both met.
Oh, sure.
And it comes into, we both had a job at the gas station, the Shell station in De Pere.
I thought you were going to bring up the meatball plant.
Well, that's... fooled you. But anyway, we both worked at the Shell in De Pere there. I was the overnight guy, and you started as like the morning gent or whatever.
Yep.
Like you were doing that kind of stuff, and we just kind of started talking and all that kind of jazz. And then like eventually, like I got moved to nights on the other side of town, and then you started working overnights at the one place.
I basically took your job.
Yeah, and then we just kind of started like talking.
I took your job.
Yeah, except I had the job that I wanted on the other side of town with the Taco Bell. Like,
yeah, you had it good over there.
I kind of lucked out.
Nothing was open by me.
I know. Like, I hated working overnights there. It was so gay. Like, I had Big Nasty to work with. Big Nasty would come over and like be like, "Hey man, want to go smoke a bulb?" And I'd be like, "All right, sure." And he'd be like, "All right, you got some weed?" I'd be like, "You motherfucker," you know what I mean? But oh god. Those coolers at those Shell stations, man. Huh?
Yeah, good times in there for sure. Oh my god. For sure. I I took a selfie in there one time of
your wiener?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Cooler's probably the wrong spot to do that, but
I mean, I guess.
but you know, whatever. It looks huge in here. Well, it's cold, ladies. Check it out. Well, I guess if you're gigantic, you'd be like, whoa. And it's cold. Hold it up to like a Yoo-Hoo bottle or something like that.
Yeah, well, no.
Well,
hold it up to those little bug juices.
Yeah, there you go. The bug juice bottle is like your balls, and the little cap is like your wiener. It looks just like a bug juice bottle. People are like, get that bug juice bottle out of the way. What's going on there? But anyway, what were you doing with your dick out in the cooler?
The same thing everybody does with their dick out in the cooler. You just own it.
Okay, so where did you wipe up, or did you?
No, you never wipe up. So you leave that for the morning girl.
Explain.
No, I don't want to talk about my dick out in the cooler.
So you jerked off in the cooler?
No, I never jerked off in the cooler.
Bunny. You never beat off at work? I beat off there once.
Not in the cooler.
Oh no, I jacked off into the where the mop bucket was, into the drain.
Like right in front of the cameras.
Yeah,
made sure that.
No, well, I don't know if there's a camera back there. Well, you look. Guess what you got to see.
So, hey Jack, check the tapes at 4:22.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, right. No, I don't know. So like some chick flashed me one night, and I got super horny. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go rub this one out. I've beat off at a couple jobs.
I got head inside there's a little. What is that place? There was like a sub sandwich place next door, and they had like the little office room. You could, get in there, and that's where they did like their count down their money and shit. It was like basically a broom closet. Is the best I could explain of it. And the chick that I was dating at the time worked there. So
well, that's convenient.
Yep,
convenient, right? Let's go count down the money, and you can. Let's see how many seconds it takes to. Let's see how many dollars it takes before you shoot. What did she get to? She got through the pennies.
All I know is that a customer came in while I was in there, so I had to stop what I was doing.
Oh, that's the worst. See, that's the worst.
I still was able to finish, but it was a halftime break.
Yeah, I guess. I would have been like, man, it would have sucked if they would have been like, do you guys have this? Like, can I buy a money order? Like, I need to pay my WPS bill. Like, are you serious? Go to I'd make people go to festival and stuff to do that. Like, if they wanted stuff, like, just go to festival. It's cheaper.
Yeah, a little place down the road where they did the same things we did for half the price.
Yeah. Can I buy a money order? Oh, God. And
go to your bank, you loser.
Right. But anyway, you got to finish, and and then she swallowed it, or what?
Something like that.
Something like that. All right. Well, so she kept that for finer days.
Well, I don't...
For happier days.
Yeah, something like that.
Those people that work there were crazy. One time I watched one of them just like microwave a CD just to ruin the microwave.
Was it that big guy?
I
The
think
crazy
so.
guy? Yeah. He used to burn me CDs all the time.
Yeah.
I guess after he microwaved them.
He likes burning CDs, that's for damn sure. Fucking weirdo. So, man. So, like, this is probably the craziest story that I have from working at the Shell.
Sure.
And this is
I was not to interrupt you. I was actually going to write a book back years ago when it was fresh in my mind. I was going to write a book about all the experiences. I was going to steal some of your stories and put them in the book and cut you a check, but
I would have been cool with that. That's fine. But anyway, so this would have probably been the best one. So there was one night when I'm, in the cooler, smoking some herb, doing what I do normally and do best, and like I'm just sitting in there, and I walk out of the cooler, and I didn't know they walked in, but there was two Brown County sheriffs in there.
Oh no!
One was standing there just staring at me, and the other one was just like kind of walking around and asking me questions about. He's like, "What are you doing back there?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm stocking milk." And he comes out and he goes, "Okay, blah, blah, blah." And he bought like coffee or whatever. I'm like, "You just have it." And all the while, this guy is just standing there staring at me. And like this cop proceeds to tell me about how he lost his virginity on a golf course that was up the road from the gas station. And like he went on, he's like, "Yeah, I was banging her and the sprinkler came on." I'm like, "All right." Like, this is crazy. And like the one guy is just standing there, and like finally the guy was like, "Well, have a good night," and they just like walked out and left and like went on their way. And I never saw, like, usually because you got like a feeling of the cops in the area, you see them come and go and stuff like that.
They're in there quite a bit,
yeah,
especially where you're at that particular place.
Yeah, but I never seen them again ever. Like, I almost thought they stole the cop car at one point. I was like, are these people even cops? Did they like beat up the cops and keep the stuff? It was weird.
Crazy.
But like, and the one guy didn't say a word. He just sat there and like, and he was off to the side, so like I couldn't really see him without looking at him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I don't know. It was one of the more terrifying experiences I've ever had with
Do you think they knew what was going on?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Thinking about like all the paperwork that has to go into it if they were to do something about it, and like how long they'd have to wait for somebody to like get there to do something, like.
Oh God!
You know what I mean? Like, we got to call the owner. Like, all right, Jack, you got to come in to take care of your business. Like,
that would have been the worst. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was always pretty cool, and I'm pretty cool under pressure in those kind of scenarios. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I've been stopped many a times, and I've, like. Knock on wood, I got a clean record.
Yeah.
So.
The amount of coffee that I gave away to those guys when they'd come in, I looked at it, I was hoping as like a get out of jail free card, like, hey, remember me next time I'm pulled over.
If it comes up again, just, a wink and a nod, like, all right, like, so, and I did get a kind of a get out of jail free card too, not really, I guess, because it wasn't like anything too illegal, but it was one time when like
he like jaywalked and they're like,
yeah,
they shook their finger at you and we're like,
pretty much,
you're lucky we know who you are.
Yeah, kind of thing. It was pretty much like I didn't yield properly at a yellow light or something like that. Like, yeah, but no, like I was bunch of my friends like were home from college or whatever, and like we went to my mom's house, or I don't know, maybe I lived at my mom's house at the time. It's probably about 18, 19, 20 maybe. But anyway, we were there, and like we could pretty much do whatever we wanted there. Like I don't think even if anybody was home, I don't think she was probably drunk too. But anyway, like we're just sitting out there, and the cop rolls up, and he's like, he kind of stops the car, and he gets out, and he kind of looks at me, and he goes, "Oh, hey." And I'm like, "Hey." He goes, "What are you guys doing?" I'm like, "Oh, these guys are home from college, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "All right, well, how about you take it inside?" I'm like, "All right." And he's like, "All right, have a good night." Like,
cool.
Like he could have just been like, "You motherfuckers, like I'm busting you all for underage and all that kind of shit." Yep. Like, he knew I wasn't 21, but I was fucking just hammered. You know what I mean? Like, but I wasn't like a dick. I wasn't like, "Hey," like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, and he just kind of was like, "All right, well, like, talk to you, see you at work." I was like, "You too, man." Like, so, but that was kind of neat. I
had one time where I'm outside in the car with my buddy, we're smoking, and the cop pulls up right alongside of my car. So there's the main door, and there's 3 parking spots off to the side, and I'm in the very last spot by the car wash, and he pulls up right alongside of my car.
God.
I get out of the car, and obviously you had to expect the smoke cloud rolls out.
Yeah.
And I get out, and first he air horned me because I saw him coming, so I was starting to get out of the car like before he got up there.
Right.
And he hit me with the air horn. So, you know.
God,
so
I didn't even know they had air horns.
Yeah, so I get up. Well, I don't know if it's an air horn, but it was
right,
like
just
an annoying loud like.
Right. No, I know. Oh, actually, yeah, I know the whole.
Yeah.
Oh,
the like I'm getting through the intersection really quick kind of thing.
Oh God, dude.
Hammered me with it.
And you were with a buddy?
Yeah, he was sitting out in the car. I was like, "You stay put. I'll be back." So I get out of the car. We both go inside. He follows me. It's like I open the door for him. He follows me in. And you know what it's like after you.
Oh yeah, you're trailing something
for sure.
Like,
he goes, "What you doing out there? Smoking weed out in your car with your buddy?" And I'm like, "You better believe it." And he's like, "Well, I won't take up too much of your time then."
Oh my God, really?
So I go.
Was it the one? Is it the cop?
I couldn't even remember. I honestly, it wasn't not the dick one, not the one that used to hang out on our side and just fuck everybody over.
Oh man, the night captain was awesome though.
Yeah, the night captain was pretty cool.
The dude that came in, he did fucking rock, man. He was one of the I always hoped that guy would pull me over because he would have been like, whoa, he would have been like excited,
right?
You know what I mean? He would have been like, no fucking shit, look at who it is. Like I'd be like, oh hey, he'd be like, hey, get the fuck out. So, but yeah, that's crazy, dude.
And he goes, so I'm sitting behind the counter and I'm like trying to hold my balance. I'm losing it, man. And there's a cop right here, and I'm like, oh, my eyes have got to be just red, you know. So I'm freaking out. And he's telling me a story. I don't remember the story he was telling me, but so he's sitting here drinking coffee, and he's like, all right, well, I'll let you get back to what you're doing. And away you go. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you air horn me. Least you could do is give me a light show on the way out. And he goes, I don't know. I don't think I can do that. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm like, you air horned me.
You came out with like a loud, like, people thought the train was coming.
10 in the morning. At like 10 at night. Like,
yeah.
hits me with the air horn.
Right.
He's like, all right. So he backs out and he flips the cherries on real quick and he drives off.
Oh, I bet your buddy was just a freaking dude the whole time.
And
I bet you for like 5-10 minutes that you were in there, dude. I bet your buddy was just sitting there.
I'm surprised he stayed there. I thought
I would have ran.
Yeah,
I
for
totally
sure.
would have booked, dude. As soon as I saw that cop turn around, I'd be like, "Fuck, peace."
I used to bring my police scanner in there all the time and listen to the police scanner late at night. And one time, an address came over the scanner that I recognized. It was one of my old roommates and a couple of our buddies were all at this party, and I recognized the address as one of my friends. So they said the name over it, and I called him right away. I'm like, dude, the cops are coming. And he goes, they're already here. Oh. And I said, well, they just radioed for backup. So if they're at the front door, get out the back door. And if they're at the back door, you go out the front door. I said, they call for backup. Get the fuck out of there.
Nice. Good watching out.
I don't know, a good 2, 3, 4 of them got out of there, and the guy who lived there obviously couldn't really go anywhere. And one other person, both of them got underage tickets, and all my friends, they got away without with nothing.
With a wink and a nod.
Yep.
That's awesome. God, dude, there is so much crazy shit that happened at that job. Hanging out with the people that work at Taco Bell, man. Those guys were just a bunch of fucktards. Seriously, dude, Big Nasty and the other guy, God, dude.
Yeah.
The other guy was all right, but there was something a little off about him, too. But Big Nasty, man, he's a rock star kind of in and of himself.
Sure, yeah.
He loves
sort of a local celebrity of sorts.
Yeah, but I don't know if
in a different way of.
I don't know if anybody
based
would
on
know
Bing celebrity.
Yeah, maybe, right? Metacrawler celebrity. But anyway, like, I don't know if anybody would know him as Big Nasty anyway. That might be just a me and maybe even him. He might not even.
I don't think he knows. That's why I'm trying to hope you don't cross that line.
Yeah, I won't. But Big Nasty's Big Nasty. And we'd like play football and stuff like that together, and like every once in a while he'd have like some swag or something like that, but we'd smoke a lot of herb and like just kind of hang out. Yeah, a lot of times he would hang out there till like 5 in the morning, and like then another dude would like come in and hang out. Like I was never like lonely.
Yeah,
at the
you
place.
had it good on that side of town. There was
a lot of
stuff.
I wanted the people to like leave. You know what I mean? I'm like, you guys got to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like
the rednecks that would just hang out there
and like play the gambling machine and buy Mountain Dew all night, dude.
Right.
Like I'd be like, man, like they're gonna figure out that like I'm just sitting here and like fucking being a weirdo. Go drive around for like an hour.
Yeah.
Jesus, like
don't you have a truck to work on?
Yeah, like gas wasn't even that expensive back then, dude.
Not
It was
at
still
all.
like $1.98 for like premium.
What do you guys want to do tonight? Let's just go hang out at the Shell.
Yeah, there was a lot there. Although I think the biggest, most annoying person that hung out at the gas stations came into yours.
Oh yeah, no, they were the worst.
And it was the flight attendant guy.
The air traffic controller guy.
That guy was just
I liked him, but at times there were times where he was like,
you didn't like him,
intense.
you tolerated him.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
like, he wasn't cool.
I wasn't like I wanted to be his friend, but
him and them fucking pull tabs, man. I never seen anybody.
He wasn't pull tab crazy as much as those. Oh man, he had a black book full of his Powerball numbers.
Oh yeah,
he had
that's
like
right.
his
pick
draw zone
and all that kind of
his
garbage.
draw zone pick 3 and fucking Powerball and run this one twice and run this one. It was like, fuck, dude.
Right, dude.
And he'd come right like at 3 o'clock, or whenever the machine like turned back on, he'd be like, I know it's about to turn on in 35 seconds. Like,
I know, dude.
I'll just wait.
And you'd see him like pull and I know like people who work at that position, they make all right money. Like,
yeah,
good enough to not drive the car that he drove. Like that.
Well,
would like putter and sputter like coming up the parking lot.
He's like, I don't know if it's gonna make it to work today, but I gotta try anyway.
Right, dude. That guy's probably loaded.
He I don't know if this is true or not, but he was in like $70,000 of gambling debt at some point. And
is that what he told you?
I don't remember the number. Maybe the other nighttime guy.
The other night guy was. Oh wait,
no, it was you. You're right.
It was that big giant crazy dude.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those two were.
They were. Well, one of those two told me. One I don't remember, but
he was. I went out drinking with that.
So he's $75,000 in gambling debt, and he had to beg a church to like help him get out of debt because he was so far in that. I don't think they like paid him, or I don't think they like got him out of it. But I think they like put him on a thing, and they were like, "You're not gonna succeed, so we don't want to do it." And he's like, "Please, you gotta help me."
Dude, begging the church for gambling debt, man. Like, holy Christ, dude. What are you getting? Like, what are you betting horses?
Yeah, good. Yeah, who knows?
That's crazy.
70,000. It might have been more, and I think a lot of it was credit cards, gambling, putting it on cards and shit.
Yeah, I suppose.
Tell me that John. I remember you told me a story about going out like on New Year's with John. Or something.
Yeah. One day, we were going. I don't know. I was going to like a Packer game, but that doesn't make sense to me. Like it was that late.
No, I thought it was New Year's, or maybe this is a different story. But.
No, because it was New Year's because I
remember you going to like 4 a.m. and hanging out at some fucking.
No, it was when we were done with work. It was like after work at like 8 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was going to a Packer game. And all the bars were open, so I was like, all right, he's like, he told me to meet him out, which was like the weirdest thing ever. Like, I hung out with him for like a minute. And
I'm like, I've had enough.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I'll be right back, and I just left. Like, it was weird, dude. We were at like some crazy all-night rave bar. Not rave bar, but like rage bar.
Like a biker bar, like everybody's all coked out and fucking like...
Yeah, it was definitely like a different kind of place, so...
Well,
definitely, yeah, that guy was a trip, dude.
He tried to get me to buy a truck from him one time, and I wanted no part of that truck.
That's good.
He was like, "So you gonna buy my truck?" What? Like, fuck, dude. No, I already told you no twice.
Right? No trucks, please. No trucks.
And at the one time I went, like I guess I had it coming because I sort of like humored him a little bit. I'm like, yeah, sure, let me take a look at it. Let me see what kind of truck we're talking about here.
Right. He's like, okay. He pulled out like 14-page ad that he's been like writing up over the last 13 years.
He was telling me one time, he's like, I make so much money here that
that's what him and the river, they always act like they're all like, yeah, motherfucker, you ain't, I don't believe it. Dude, that he wore like short shorts and a too small a shirt to work.
The one guy had a pretty nice car for working at the Shell.
No, he didn't.
He had a better than average car for, not the one guy that worked on my side. He had he had like a ghetto Buick or something.
He had something, he had what a guy with average credit could get.
Sure. Yep.
And I'm sure he's still
his car was a boat. Yeah, no kidding. Well, anyway, I don't miss that place very much.
No.
I miss the stories. I mean, I'm glad, like, as we're telling some of these stories, I'm kind of like, it's rekindling memories that I'm like, man,
right.
It was good to be young and have like no care in the world,
exactly,
no
right,
responsibilities,
dude? Like, exactly. Just like waking up and then going home, listening to like cruising home to Bob and Tom.
Yeah,
like I used to cruise home and see like my friends bringing their kids to school or their brothers and sisters to school, and like see them in the country.
Well, yeah, sure.
You know, they'd be like, "What the fuck?" I'd be like, "Hey, like."
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, pretty much, you know, like, what are you going to do when you're 19, you know, not in college, fucking, pretty much living a dead-end life, you know, like, you got to experience it, I guess.
Yeah. No, yeah, I want you to tell the story about, I want to say he was like a war veteran, and maybe I'm giving him way too much credit. The guy that he was just insane. He was always getting pulled over by the cops, and he was always just causing trouble.
I know who we're talking about here. So
I want to hear this story. This is a good story.
Yeah. So there is this guy who comes in, and there's something off about this guy, and it was the only time I ever really seen him before. Like,
really?
Yeah,
he's sort of a local.
You say that
anti-celebrity.
Nobody else I talked to has ever heard of him.
Well, okay.
Like, no one, you knew who he was though. So I mean, but you're more connected than a lot of people that I know. But anyway, this guy comes in and he's like, he like bought cigars or cigarettes or something like that. I want to say cigars. He came in and like bought a cigar, and he went over and like started smoking it in the gas station. And I'm like, nah, you can't do that in here. Blah blah blah. Like, I'm like, you gotta go out. I'm like, you can do it here. You just do it outside. He's like, no, I'm gonna smoke it in here. And I'm like, listen, guy, you can't. Like, I'm gonna give you two options. You either can leave or I will call the police. And like, he was actually like a pretty big dude. Like, he was probably like 6'8".
Big.
Yeah, like
Very
6'8" dude, and like he was kind of a giant. So I wasn't. Even at his like old age, I didn't want to go and like fuck with the guy because he'd probably fucking like old man strength me to death. And,
sure.
Like, he was kind of crazy. Yeah. And fucking, so anyway, like, we're sitting there like kind of going back and forth, and like, I'm like, all right, well, the cops are coming. And like the cops get him outside and fucking like take him away and shit like that. And the guy apparently is like, I'm gonna kill the kid inside. Like, and I'm like, what? And the cop came and like told me this, and I'm like, really? I'm like, are you gonna like watch out for me? He's like, if he comes around, just call us. I'm like, well, I might be dead by the time you get here. And he's like, well, I don't think that'll happen. I'm like, Jesus, man, that's kind of weird. So yeah, like the guy was so like weirded out or enraged that like he couldn't smoke inside of a gas station. Well, that he wanted my life over it.
I remember a couple of add-ons to that story. I remember you saying, you like grabbing a newspaper and saying, if you don't like the law, write to your congressman. Or you made some kind of statement like
that. Sounds like something. Yeah, we were going back and forth. I remember arguing with the guy, so that sounds like something.
He was like, "Well, this is America, and I should be in." Like, if you don't like how the laws are, write to your congressman or something like that.
I mean, I still say that at my job now.
Yeah. Well,
take it up with Congress. It wasn't my job to enact the law.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, but yeah, like I didn't. You know, yeah.
Well, we had a nickname for this guy. We called him the Psycho Killer.
Yeah,
partially because of what happened to you, but then from what I remember, it was the story that the cop told about how when he was at the Julie's Cafe on the west side, and a similar thing happened where he was I think he was smoking a joint inside the restaurant, and the girl said, "You can't smoke a joint inside of a restaurant." And when they called the cops or they kicked him out of there, he ended up showing up later that day with a gun. And so he got arrested. He got arrested for that, but
right, dude, what a psycho!
And yeah, because I remember telling the cop was on the west side talking to me about the story, and I told him, I'm like, yeah, there was some guy. He's like, oh yeah, well that guy fucking did this.
Get this too. That guy actually lived like within like golf ball hitting distance from me, dude. Seriously, and I never knew it. Like, but one time, like, I was coming home from work or leaving, I don't know, but I was like, that's that motherfucker's house.
Yeah.
But
he had a very distinctive car.
Yeah.
In fact,
yeah, he did.
The part that was distinctive about it was every time he got pulled over for DUI, and so the car got pulled over on the side of the road and left there, and then the cops would, take him to jail or whatever, they'd slap that sticker on the back that says, like, you have 24 hours to get your car or it's getting towed or whatever. Well, they put it right in the middle of the windshield. The cops would, and then he would get his car back in a couple days, and he would drive around, and they'd pull him over for having obstructed windows.
Oh,
for having the sticker on the back, and they'd get him. So he got like I feel like the cop told me he got like 2 DUIs in like a 4-day span or something.
Sounds about right. That guy was different, man. There was another crazy thing that, well, not like a crazy person that came into, and this guy was like legitimately like psycho, or not psycho, but like bonkers. And he came in, like, I watched this guy walk from like, you know, because it was right off of a highway. Like once you get past the East Shell, it's like country and highway and stuff, you know what I mean? Yep. And I watched this guy like walk down the road. He was coming. I'm like, I know this guy's gonna stop here. Like, and here he comes. And he comes.
It's like an oasis. It's like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, because the next thing down the road is, you know, like even De Pere's like a little bit. Yeah, it's even like a, you know, it's a long stretch before there's even the roundabout or whatever. But anyway, so the guy comes in and he
local De Pere talk again. Here we go.
Yay! But anyway, this guy comes in and he looks like Mr. I don't know. He looks like Mr. Potato Head, something like. And he had like a bald. He had like a Friar Tuck looking style with like crazy hair, like all flailed about. And he comes in and he just kind of, you know, walks around a little bit and he's drooling. And, like, the dude was certainly, like, a head case. Yeah.
Man.
And he just comes in and he's like, hey. And I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? And he's like, would you like to touch my feather? And he was just kind of, like, holding a feather. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, you sure? Like, I'm like, no, I don't. No. Like, that's yours. That's your precious.
My mom always told me not to touch other men's feathers.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And then he just left and like kept on walking. Like, it was kind of weird.
I'll find somebody to touch his feather.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, somebody's gonna feel my feather. But like, you know, obviously, like that guy I think was just, you know, off his meds or something.
Yeah.
But that for some reason that sticks out to me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do you want to touch my feather? Like, no, sir. Like, do I call you sir?
I had a guy come in one time. He came in the store, he bought a bunch of shit, and he, as I'm checking all the items out and bag them up, and he grabbed the bag and he starts walking out the store, and he's watching me through the window. There's like a double window on the way out. He's just watching me. He's just staring me down as he's walking by. I'm looking at him going, what is this guy just fucking staring at me while he's walking for? Like, this is creepy. So he gets in his car, and okay, I thought away he goes, so I went back to doing whatever I was doing.
Smoking weed.
Something like that. Well, probably counting cigarettes or something fucking stupid.
Stealing cigarettes.
Yeah. So he comes back in the store like 10 seconds later, and he comes up to the counter and he goes, yeah, I was just wondering if you wanted to go out back. For a second, I wasn't sure what he was talking about. I honestly, I just didn't
fight.
No. Just hold on. So,
oh man,
I wasn't sure what he was saying. He goes, yeah, man, do you want to go out back? Now, the second time, because I think the first time I wasn't sure what he really said, and the second time, do you want to go out back? I'm like, does he want to smoke weed? Like, do I just like,
do I know this guy? Or
I didn't recognize him, and I'm like, I don't think I know what you mean, dude. And he goes, yeah, man, I just want to go out back and suck your cock.
Oh.
And I was like, you need to leave. I'm like, you need to go right now. He's like, all right, sorry, man, sorry. All right.
Sorry, man. Oh, my God.
Away he goes.
He goes around to night gas stations looking for fucking dudes.
Yeah, I think he thought I was looking at him or gave him like a signal, which I absolutely did not. So anyway,
you've been giving so many gay dude signals for so long. This happens to you like weekly. You're like, I don't get it, but you like keep like thumbs upping all the gay dude, like the gayest dudes you see,
tapping their toe while they're in the bathroom
pretty
stall or
much,
something.
Right? You just keep like doing like a motion with like your mouth and lips, and they're like, what?
I actually, as soon as that happened, I called you right away.
I think I
called you, and I was like, dude, you're never going to believe this. And so I told the story, and you go, call the cops. I'm like, call the cops? You're like, call the cops. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't call the cops. I'm like, okay, I'm fucking all right. So I called the cops.
Was it an older dude?
I don't know. No, he's about my age.
Oh, huh.
So I call the cops, and I'm telling the story to the lady. Yeah, no, I did. And the cops came, and I'll never forget this.
Oh man,
he comes in the door, or he's got his chest out, kind of, he's walking up. He kicks the door open, boom, kicks the door open, and goes, "It was a dude, wasn't it?" And I was like, what? He goes, because if it was a girl, you would have had the doors locked and the lights off, and I wouldn't be here right now. Man. And I start laughing.
That's awesome. Made you call the cops. I probably just wanted you to tell us.
He wanted them to come by you because they were bugging you, probably.
Or that. Maybe. I don't know, but I can't imagine how...
The whole time I'm thinking, man, if I was asking some chick out, and I wouldn't say, I want you to suck my... Like, I wouldn't have been that forward with her, but if I got rejected by some chick and then she called the cops on me like 10 minutes later, I'd be pretty bummed about that.
Right.
I remember having to talk to Jack, the manager, and saying, like, man, here's what time it happened. Like, he was, like, getting, like, photographs for the police to send in. Like,
here's the pervert.
Yeah, ridiculous. He's probably, like, a sex offender now.
Probably.
Because of me. Because of you.
Call the cops, dude. Tell them that you got offered and sucked off by a dude. Call them and tell them.
Tell as many people as you know. Make sure they print it in the Deep Ear Journal.
Right. File a report. Sign it. Oh, man.
I had one time.
God.
This guy comes to the counter. This guy comes to the counter and he's wasted, pissed drunk. And you get that a lot. There's a bus stop right by there, so a lot of drunk people would come in.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's just wasted to the point where he like passed out at the counter. So while he's got his head down,
I've had that happen.
He's got his head down at the desk. Brown County Sheriff walks in, and I'm thinking, well, this is about to get fucking crazy, or it's about to end. So the sheriff walks in, he waves to me, he goes all the way to the back to the bathroom, he waves to me, and he leaves. And away he goes. And I'm just like, I'm just in awe. Like, I wasn't gonna like I'm pointing at him like,
right.
Here he's like,
now this one's pretty much served up.
He's literally passed out. Like, the guy didn't even do anything about it.
Probably like, not my problem.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it gets better. So the sheriff leaves, and within 10 minutes, the Deep Ear cop comes in. And I'm thinking he probably called the Deep Ear cop to come in. So the Deep Ear cop comes in, he waves, grabs a drink, grabs a, they were always getting free coffee and shit.
Yeah. They all just wave to you.
Yep. They, and he did the same thing, and he no.
You, like, brought the guy a pillow?
No, he sat there and by the coffee, and he was waiting for this guy to finish up. So this guy wrote out his check, and he put all his shit.
Guy?
Yeah. Wrote out a check, he put all his shit, grabbed the bag, and away he goes. So I'm like, dude, you're never going to believe this. This guy is pissed drunk, and there he drives away as I'm pointing away. I'm like, look at this guy's check. For the dollars and cents amount, it said 4:35 a.m. in the box where you write.
You accepted it.
Of course I did. So this guy's fucking drunk, and I'll never forget this.
You wrote the time.
I'm like... I told the cop, I'm like, and there he goes as I'm pointing to him as he's driving away, and he goes, oh, yeah? Well, not my problem. That's Ashwaubenon. That way.
Oh.
There he goes, that way's Ashwaubenon. Not my problem.
Well,
like, wow, dude.
Jurisdiction. Jerks. Seriously, man, that guy could have killed somebody, and that guy's like, well, free coffee.
Yep, pretty much.
Well, at least we know the time. Time of death. Well, he wrote a check at 4:35. How do we know? Well, time stamped it.
Yep.
One time I saw a guy come in that was so drunk, dude. This guy, he wrote in on the rim of his
Just
rental car,
shooting sparks and shit.
Yep. And the cop saw him from, because there was a cemetery.
Oh yeah.
And the cop was just sitting up there, and he must have just been doing the same thing I was, just watching what the guy was gonna do, And he just pulled in, and he just kind of like fell out of the car. And he's like, I need a tow truck. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be taken care of for you, as like the cop pulls in. And I'm like, you got to deal with that. That car, I don't know. They obviously, dude, took him away. Like,
yep.
They came in there. They just laughed about it. Like, did you see this?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that guy blows. God, I used to give him fantasy football tips.
The cops?
Yeah, because one guy,
the drunks.
No, everybody, anybody that asked. The one cop was like a really big Lions fan. I don't know why. But, like, he would always give me shit. Remember that one cop, too, that was a tugboater?
Yeah, I remember you telling me. I never heard one tugboat story from this guy.
The dude had one story. Old Red had one story about tugboating.
Wasn't he the boss or, like, the second in command or something?
Yeah, he looked like Woody from fucking Toy Story, except a real-life version. I didn't like that guy. He was creepy. But, yeah, he was good at tugboating.
That's how you get to be a cop in De Pere.
Yeah, creeping out tugboat captains. He creeps out the longshoremen even. Fucking tugboats. I don't know, man. That place, you know, like for all the shit that I pulled and for all the dumb fucking, like, dude, I saw a person, oh my god. So there was like a fight in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And like, I saw a dude get hit by a car.
Oh, no shit.
Fly up on this dude's hood, smack their windshield, busted up their windshield, fall off. And me and this lady are watching it. And she's like, and the dude gets into another car and takes off and they start chasing the people. And the lady's like, you gonna do anything about that? I'm like, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, nope.
I'm like, you can. Like, That was weird too. Oh, another time, dude, I found this one guy tried coming in. He was trying to pass a counterfeit 5. I'm like, dude,
Why do you waste your time with a 5?
Apparently, it's the most counterfeited one, man.
Really?
I guess.
Huh. I guess because people don't fucking swipe it.
Yeah. And he came in. I'm like, dude, this ain't real. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, look at it. I'm like, it's like the color of spearmint gum. I'm like, did you just make this? I'm like, feel it. And then I like pulled out a dollar. I'm like, feel that.
He took that one and gave you the other one.
Well,
and ran
like
off.
no, because the guy was like, I just got it from the bank. I'm like, I don't believe you. Like, is basically what I said. I'm like, give me something different. I'm not going to accept this. He's like, and like put up a big stink. And I'm like, and it was another instance where I'm like, I had to call the police because the guy was like, he's like, accept it or I'm leaving with, I'm like, all right, fine. And the cops came in, he's like, yeah, this is definitely not real.
Huh.
Like, I ran it, you know, like, I had the marker too, and I showed him, like, see, look, idiot. And the guy's like, all right, and he was like, he fucking, apparently must have, you know, totally thought it was legit because he got it from the bank. So the bank can't figure out.
That's kind of sketchy.
When a bank can't figure this out, dude, and it was pretty, like, seriously, it looked like it was, like, as green as, like...
No, I've seen those kind of bills, but the ones that I've seen were actually real bills, but they're from, like, 1971. They're just they're too bright. It's, like, it's just a wrong color. You're used to seeing the same green for years and years, and then you get this weird one.
I suppose. We can't all have purple money unless it's a $100 bill, and who has those? Not when you're working at the Shell.
Nope.
Although I did find a $100 bill at that place.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I found at another gas station I've worked at. I found another $100 bill there.
Damn,
dude, I found a lot of money at that Shell. I found fucking 20 one night.
Yeah.
And I used to love when drunks would come in because they drop money all the time.
Yep.
Go and mop and there'd be like $4 like.
Yep.
Pretty much every night. Like, you know what I mean? Perks of the job.
The worst is when the cops would hang out, like we were talking. The cops just kind of hang out there, it seems like. And it's weird, when the cops are there, people don't tend to come in that often anymore. Except for the people you don't want there anyway. Like, oh, Mr. Guy that wants to tell stories about his tugboats. And, like, fucking guys that want to...
And only, like, the most straight-laced people come in that time.
The worst kind of people. Yeah. They're like, well, I saw you were here. I thought I'd learn how to be a police officer.
Yeah. Can you sign me up for any sort of ride-along program?
Yeah.
Like, sir, it's 3 a.m. Well, I'm up, you're up. Let's make it happen, huh? Like,
it's just weird, though. Like, so the cops would be hanging out there, and then all the cool people that you want, like the fucking girls that would show their tits, and like the drunk people that were like, yeah, dude, I don't care. Just keep the change. Yeah, fucking all those people, they wouldn't come in. Like,
no.
Eventually, you started telling them, like, you can't be here all night. Like, you gotta leave. You know, you got your free coffee, now go.
Yeah, it wasn't my bottom line. I didn't care because I would just sit there.
It would just... Well, no girls. It was my bottom line because I had shit in the cooler. I wanted to get done, and not stocking milk.
Yeah, I know, right? That girl was cold.
You get back and she's just like all
right. Her lips are blue. Come on, baby, warm that up. Good times at the Shell, man. I'm glad that's how we met. That was pretty much perfect way to meet somebody.
Let me ask you this: do you remember why you left there, or what
Yeah, I got a different job.
Okay, so you left honorably. Unlike me.
Well, I wouldn't call it honorably.
Well, you left on your own accord. You didn't come in for work one day and leave immediately after they told you to go
leave
home.
or like in cuffs or anything like that.
Right.
No. No, I went because I've worked a lot of night jobs, but I hate working nights.
Yeah.
So I took a day job.
Oh, sure. Can't beat those.
Well, it was like an afternoon job.
Yeah, but
it was good. I liked it. Cleaning cars.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Why did you leave?
I got fired for selling my friend beer.
Oof.
Here's the mistake I made, and I thought I had all my bases covered, and I clearly missed a very obvious point.
They didn't sell beer when I worked there.
See, when I worked there, we just we didn't have beer for that whole time, and then in June or July of the last year I worked there, the city that we worked in, they passed an ordinance that you could sell beer at a gas station in the city limits. And so they just got that law. Well, fucking, I'm like the coolest guy in town where all my friends were like being able to buy their beer from me. But I made them like show me, I need to see an ID card. I need to be seen on camera looking at a card and looking at you.
Just show me something to make it look like I'm checking.
Right.
Right.
Well, so I did that for every single, I'm like, you got an ID? And they're like, oh, we heard you didn't check it. Well, I said, do you have an ID? Wink, wink, wink. And they're like,
right.
Give me something, you know?
Right. Just show me your school. I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
like
so,
these ain't HD cameras
right.
with like Zoom.
So
they might be now.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I don't think they are even still. I think they're the same cameras from when we were there. Exactly the same ones. Huh. Well, anyway, so I sold it to the one friend that I got him a job at that place. Like in a year, maybe a year and a half before that, he worked there, and he actually kind of fucked me over because he worked there for like a week or 2 or maybe 3 weeks.
I would have never got a job for anybody.
And then he just stopped showing up.
Yeah,
and so I kind of
Jack would have held that against you. Forever.
Well, and I can tell you a story about that in a second. Well, anyway, so he was checking the tapes because apparently, with the new law being in effect or whatever, we're just freshly being allowed to sell alcohol. He was going back and checking the tapes to make sure that we weren't fucking him out of his liquor license by selling it to kids, you know? So he's looking at the tapes and, yeah, well, every time stamp where I sold alcohol, I'm checking IDs, except the one person he recognized. And he went and like dug and was like, oh, that guy looks familiar. I think he used to work here. Let me look at his like paper, his application and his age on there.
Oh.
So I came into work one day and he goes, so you've been checking IDs on the alcohol purchase? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, you've been checking everybody's ID? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, what about this guy? I mean, what about your friend here? Didn't he used to work here? I'm like, yeah. I guess he did. Well, you didn't check his ID? I'm like, yeah, I did. He's like, well, if you did, you would have known that he was the same age as you are. And I'm like, oh, weird. I thought he was 2 years older than me.
Right? Could have been like he showed me a fake. I don't know.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I'm like, I kind of give him the like, I won't do it again, sir. And he's like, you won't because that's it. You're done.
Oh, that sucks.
So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
It was for the better. Yeah. I have a tendency of staying at jobs longer than I probably want to. Like, just because you get comfortable, I could shut my fucking brain off and just do nothing.
Pretty much.
You did that job for almost 3 years, just fucking having your brain shut off and like.
Oh yeah, dude. I worked there from like out of high school until like, I don't know, way too long. Seriously, I worked there during high school.
Crazy.
So yeah, dude, I worked there for a long time.
Well, it makes me. I brought that story up because I want to hear your opinion of. I have this person I know that they're looking to leave their job. They've been there for a long time, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. They don't want to quit. They do want to quit. They want to just be gone, but they want to be able to maybe collect unemployment.
Okay.
by leaving. So my question for you is what would you do if you were in a situation where you were just sick of being there? You didn't have another job lined up per se, and you just kind of wanted to coast for like a couple weeks.
You have to know the company policies, and you have to know what you can skirt.
Okay.
For example, I had a job that.
Oh no.
And I will not say where it was.
Sure.
But I worked a job where they treated me like shit, They literally like it was a garbage place, but they had a loophole, I guess you could call it.
It was Shell, was it? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Nope, it was a fairly decent job, but it was garbage. And so it was in their attendance policy. There was no written attendance policy.
Okay.
So I would call in, and 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 I did it for like a month.
Nice.
And then finally, like, I called in, I was like, if you want me to come in, I'll come in. And they said, yeah, come in. And they, like, let me go. And I filed for unemployment, and I said that they didn't, because I could get a doctor's note or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah. So they're like, okay. I don't think it was for a month. I think it was 2 weeks, though.
Yeah, it's still...
Yeah, it was a pretty good amount of time where,
Yeah.
like, everybody was kind of surprised to see that I showed back up, like, to only walk back out.
Yeah.
But anyway, because they didn't have an attendance policy in writing, I got unemployment for 3.5 years.
Oh my god, that's so awesome.
The max unemployment, because
Oh, yeah.
I was selling insurance before that.
Yeah. And so you had raised up enough of a threshold.
Like in them
that-
quarters, I was banking it, and then they didn't renew me or whatever to come back and sell for them in the next season. So then I had to go and work this job, and
That's so awesome.
well, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you treat smart people like garbage. Though.
Yeah, no, they will find every little way to fuck you over. Not even every way; they'll just find a way.
I'll work the
right
system to fuck you over. Yeah, it's your own fault, and I'm sure now they have an attendance policy.
Oh, guaranteed. Well, or they don't, and they just are just idiots, and they're like,
that could be too.
Well, we'll never hire anybody that smart.
They
again.
probably just didn't hire anybody else. That place, the same people were there for forever, probably.
Yeah.
Although the reception girl had the nicest titties, man. Oh my god, dude, this girl was like.
You might have to tell me off the air so that I can go and check these titties out.
Dude, this girl was like fucking slender, big titties, awesome.
Fuck, man.
Blast off.
So we took a little break there. Now we're back, and
I had to pee and poop. Cody was nice enough to let me use his potty. It was cool of him.
yeah. Well, one of us has cameras in their bathroom, and that person's not me.
That's weird, but whatever. So there's one more thing that, getting into all the night talk that we've been doing. Me and you also have bonded over a certain radio program called Coast to Coast AM. And I think what would be appropriate is for our listeners to hear the kind of garbage that we got to listen to at night.
No, not garbage.
Well, no. Let me keep going. We would listen to Coast, which has like conspiracy theories and UFOs and all sorts of that kind of fun stuff on there. And then their what's called like bumper music was just god awful. And people would come in because we would be blasting this stuff at 3 a.m,
Right.
listening to like UFOs, but nobody would ever come in when they're talking UFOs and like
Right.
aliens and Bigfoot. They would only come in listening to like Nancy Sinatra.
So you're sitting here behind the counter, and you've got this AM radio blasting. You're listening to like AM talk radio, so you just hear silence.
That people are going to start subscribing to the ancient wisdom.
Yep.
So you got this shit. That's what
we're
shit
listening.
cranking.
Yeah.
Because it's so quiet. Yeah, it's just like.
Which sees the highest good for all.
And then so when the customer comes in, sometimes they'll hear like just some random guy going on a fucking on a whatever he's talking
unintelligible tangent, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
that's whatever.
As the value.
Right.
So that.
And then
So
you get when they go to commercial, they play like the craziest fucking
just the worst, man.
like so then these people would come in and
Right.
they're
And we're listening to a legit, like, kind of interesting.
yeah, they're
it's
talking about
interesting,
aliens and UFOs and like
right, dude,
conspiracies
like
and
9/11
like 9/11,
conspiracies, all sorts of
gas prices and fucking
Right, all
Jesus
sorts of-
fucking things. And
all sorts of stuff that are like keeping you
Interesting,
awake at
yeah.
night and that are interesting. Right.
we could listen to like interesting mind like
Right.
what's the word like
Mind expanding, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
We could listen to stuff that's cool to listen to when you're high, or we could listen to the same old like top 40 crap.
yeah.
So those are when you're working nights, it's pretty crazy. But keep going.
Then you're playing. So then a customer will come in when they're on commercial, and they'll come in, and all they'll hear is this.
Send your camel to bed.
And literally, because you're in the back of the store, you got the fucking talk radio blasting, and that's
And
just
you will
blasting in the store.
Yes,
and
and
it's not very long. It's like maybe 20 seconds of the song they'll play. But it's when that one guy comes in.
Yep, that's like, what's going on? Like,
they'll just go, "Oh, what are you listening to, dude?"
Yeah. Oh God, dude, and that was like at least once a month, if not once a week,
For sure.
Like that was, and they never played it. Yeah, like it was never like Johnny Cash going on. Like when people would come in, they were never playing like Clapton or anything like that. It was always like ABBA,
Yeah.
or like some Fiona Apple, or just something like terrible.
The worst shit of all time.
Yeah, like so. Oh, that stuff was that. Right here, there you go. Well, they would play it with the words, but anyway.
No,
would they? Oh yeah, they might lead into something like this.
The best part about it was that they'd play like they just started from the beginning of the song, and then right when like
Right when it start kicking,
then it like turns on. It's like,
want to call in from the West Coast? Call 414-221. Like, yeah.
Where are those happy days? They seem so hard.
Coast to Coast AM likes to talk to aliens.
And
and that's what it would be like.
Yeah. Or my favorite one is what they had, some guy like sent in like his like
a
a fan
super fan.
Yeah, super fan. So sometimes a customer would come in and this song would be playing.
I turned on my radio in the middle of the night.
Right,
I
dude?
heard things I need
Oh,
to
God.
know.
And this was like,
I can see the light,
and this was the weird one.
and I also see a ghost.
Oh, man.
I'm listening to Coast.
We were cool. Oh, my God. The video is quite weird for this. I suggest you guys all go check it out. It's quite weird.
It's called UFO Phil, Coast to Coast. Listening to Coast to Coast.
Good job, Phil.
Check
Good
it out.
job.
Well, that was our show. I know we hit you with the show a couple days ago, but
We'll keep hitting that. We'll keep tapping that show.
we'll pass it around.
We'll be hitting the sack and then going to bed.
I miss that. I'm gonna hit the sack and go to bed.
Yeah, that was a good time. Good old buddy.
Yep.
So yeah, well, I think we'll wrap it up this week. All the Coast to Coast has kind of made me long for the good old days of cruising to Bob and Tom and going home and to eating pancakes and
Bob and
Cheetos
Tom,
at like 4 in the.
Yep.
And all right, one more brief before we go.
Sure.
How crazy too was it? The off nights, working overnights. What would you? Because you sleep until 10:30.
Yeah.
And you'd wake up and you'd get high and go to Walmart and come home and go to bed at like 4 in the morning. Like it was so weird. Like the days off were just like worthless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was nice being able to go and like do things after work and have it like
not have to. Yeah.
It's like not busy, or sometimes it would be busy, but
Dude, I used to just wake up at like 10 o'clock, like at 9 o'clock or something like that, and I would be up until like 2 in the afternoon. That's how I rolled. That's how I did it. Like,
I mean, you got to stay on schedule, keep your body in shape.
yeah, that was the only way I could do it. But so anyway, fuckers, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Facebook.
I think you
wherever.
should share some of your favorite work stories in 40 characters or less, or 140 characters or less. Send that shit to our Twitter. It's at Eternal Skunk Show.
One day somebody will tell us. No show.
At Eternal Skunk. Man, we've been doing this show for however many episodes now, and I still have to look at a little cheat sheet to remember
And you
what.
still don't follow the show.
I don't follow the show on Twitter? All right, well, I will follow the show tonight.
You've heard that before.
No.
And at one point you followed it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I did unfollow. I blocked you.
It's yourself.
I blocked ourselves. Wah, wah.
Anyway, peace out, Gravediggers. Let's go get ourselves some shut-eye. Boner.